It was 5:43 a.m. in Surulere, Lagos, when Grace opened her front door and froze. A baby wrapped in a faded blue towel lay asleep in a basket on the porch. Tucked beside the baby was a folded note, damp from the morning dew. Grace picked it up with shaking hands. "Please take care of her. Can't do this. Linda." Grace's chest tightened. Linda was her younger sister, wild, beautiful, and reckless. They hadn't spoken in almost a year. Grace scanned the street. No one in sight. No cry for help. Just silence. The baby stirred, lips puckering in sleep. Grace bit her lip, heart pounding. She wasn't ready to be a mother. She wasn't even married. But something in the baby's face, those eyes, made her step back inside and shut the door behind her. 10 years ago, Grace had moved to Lagos after their parents died, determined to live a stable life. She worked hard at a bakery, kept to herself, and stayed away from drama. Linda, on the other hand, chased thrills. She had vanished into the city's chaos, leaving only rumors behind. Now here was this baby, left in her arms, left in her life. Grace named her Hope. Over the weeks, bottles replaced wine glasses on her table. Lullabies replaced silence. Her life, once routine, filled with cries, diapers, and first smiles. Her neighbors called her Mama Hope. Some whispered behind her back, asking who the father was. Grace didn't care. She had found purpose. But every night, as she rocked Hope to sleep, she asked herself the same question. Why would Linda leave her own child like this? She never imagined the real answer would break her more than the abandonment ever did. 10 years passed. Grace's small flat in Surulere had changed. There were school books on the table, drawings on the fridge, and pink slippers by the door. Hope had grown into a bright, curious girl with deep brown eyes and a laugh that filled every corner of the house. She called Grace Mummy with so much love. It healed wounds Grace didn't know she had. Grace worked 2 jobs to keep Hope in a good private school. She cleaned office spaces at night and baked bread during the day. Sometimes she came home with swollen feet and barely enough strength to eat. But every time Hope ran to hug her at the door, shouting, "Mummy, welcome," Grace knew it was all worth it. They were inseparable. Hope shared everything with Grace. School drama, birthday wishes, secret fears. Grace was careful to protect her, love her, and guide her. She never once told Hope the truth about how she came into her life. She feared it would shatter their bond. And Linda? She remained a ghost. Not a single call. Not a single message. It was as if she had vanished off the face of the earth. Sometimes Grace wondered if Linda was even alive. Other times she was angry. How could someone just walk away from her own child? One Sunday evening, as Grace braided Hope's hair in the living room, Hope asked innocently, "Mummy, why don't I look like you?" Grace's hands paused. Her breath caught. "You're beautiful, just like God made you," she replied softly, dodging the question. But the truth was catching up. Children ask harder questions as they grow. Later that night, Grace sat in bed staring at her ceiling fan. A deep worry filled her heart. What if Linda came back one day? What if she came to take Hope away? It was a fear Grace buried every year. But this year she would have to face it. Because Linda had returned to Lagos. It was a rainy Tuesday evening. Grace had just returned from work, her clothes damp, her spirit tired. Hope was in the kitchen, humming as she warmed rice. Their life was quiet, simple, until a knock echoed on the front door. 3 soft knocks. Then silence. Grace frowned. It was past 8 p.m. and they weren't expecting anyone. She dried her hands on a towel and opened the door. Her breath left her body. Linda, standing there, soaked from head to toe in the rain, was her sister. The same eyes, the same face. Only thinner, harder, worn out by life. She looked like a shadow of the girl Grace once knew. "Hi, Grace," Linda said, her voice shaky. "Can I come in?" Grace didn't move. Her heart pounded in anger and disbelief. "You left a baby on my doorstep, vanished for 10 years, and now you want to come in?" Linda's lips trembled. "Please." Hope appeared behind Grace. "Mummy, who is that?" Grace quickly stepped outside and shut the door behind her. She faced Linda, arms crossed. "What do you want?" "I want to see my daughter," Linda whispered. Those words struck Grace like lightning. "Your daughter? Now you remember you have a daughter." Linda looked down. "I know how it sounds. But I was young. I was scared. I made a mistake." Grace's voice shook with fury. "No, you didn't just make a mistake. You abandoned a child. I raised her. I loved her. You don't get to show up after a decade and start claiming things." "I'm not here to fight," Linda said quietly. "I just want to talk." Grace stared at her long and hard. Then she stepped aside. 5 minutes. Linda entered the house slowly. When Hope saw her, she tilted her head. "Mummy, who is this?" Grace forced a smile. "This is Aunt Linda." Hope beamed. "Oh wow. I didn't know I had an aunt." Linda's eyes welled up. "You're so big now." Hope giggled. "Are you staying for dinner?" Linda choked on emotion. "Maybe just for a bit." But Grace stood stiffly by the kitchen counter. Her gut told her this wasn't a visit. It was the beginning of a storm. Linda started showing up more often, always with a wide smile and expensive gifts for Hope. Tablets, designer clothes, perfumes no 10-year-old needed. Hope was excited, but Grace grew uneasy. Her instincts whispered, something is not right. One Sunday afternoon after lunch, Linda asked to speak privately. They sat in the small living room, the ceiling fan spinning slowly overhead. Grace folded her arms, watching her sister carefully. "I've made up my mind," Linda began, her voice soft, too soft. "I want Hope back. I want to be her mother again." Grace stared at her. "Excuse me. I know I left," Linda continued. "But I'm ready now. Changed. I have a job and apartment in Lekki. I can give her a better life." Grace's jaw clenched. "You left her on my doorstep like a stray kitten, Linda. You disappeared for 10 years without a single word. Now you're back with perfume and promises." "I was young and stupid," Linda whispered. "But I'm still her mother. I gave birth to her." Grace stood up slowly. "You gave birth to her. But I raised her. I stayed. Through sickness, hunger, and school runs. I stayed." Linda looked down at her hands, trembling. And then she said it, quiet like a broken confession. "No, Grace. I didn't give birth to her." Silence. Cold and sharp. Grace frowned. "What are you saying?" Linda's lips trembled. "Hope, she's not mine. She never was." Grace staggered back, her throat tightening. "What?" "I lied. I told you she was mine so you'd take her in. But she belongs to someone else. Someone I hurt." Grace's voice cracked. "You lied to me. For 10 years. I didn't know what else to do," Linda said, crying now. "The real mother trusted me. She was young, scared, and alone. She begged me for help. I promised to take the baby to her aunt in Ikeja. But I didn't." Grace was stunned. You gave her to me instead." "I panicked. I knew you were stable, kind. I thought you could give her a better life. I just dropped her and ran. I told myself it was best." Grace turned away, her chest heaving. "You didn't just betray me. You betrayed that woman, and this child." Linda nodded slowly. "I know. And she's looking for her daughter now." Grace's knees nearly buckled. "She's alive. She wants Hope back." "Yes," Linda whispered. And in that moment, Grace realized, the life she had built was hanging by a thread. A truth she never asked for was about to undo everything. Grace couldn't sleep that night. She sat in the living room with the lights off, clutching a photo of Hope at age 2, tears silently running down her face. Every word Linda said kept echoing. "She's not mine. I lied. The real mother wants her back." By morning, her eyes were swollen, but her decision was clear. She needed answers directly from the source. She called Linda. "Tell her to meet me. Alone." Later that evening, in a quiet restaurant in Yaba, Grace waited at a corner table. Her fingers tapped nervously on the glass cup in front of her. Then a woman entered. She was in her early 30s. Slim, with tired eyes and smooth dark skin. She walked slowly, holding her bag tightly to her chest, like someone guarding her past. Linda followed quietly behind. Grace stood. "Are you her?" The woman nodded. "My name is Naomi." They sat down. Linda stayed back silent. Naomi's voice was calm, but her hands trembled. 10 years ago I was in a bad place. Got pregnant. The father ran off. I was barely 22 working in a bar. I didn't know what to do. Linda was my friend. Grace looked at her sharply. "She promised to help," Naomi continued. "Said she'd take the baby to her aunt who worked in childcare. I trusted her." Grace clenched her fists. "She didn't." Naomi's eyes filled with tears. "I waited. Called her. She changed her number. For years I thought my baby was dead. I mourned her birthday every year. And now, I just want to see her." Grace's voice cracked. "She's not just a child to me. She's my daughter." Naomi nodded slowly. "I believe you. I can see it in your eyes. You've loved her, protected her, given her everything. But you're her mother," Grace said quietly. Naomi wiped her face. "I don't want to destroy her world. I just want to be part of it. If you'll let me." The two women sat in silence, the weight of the truth between them. In the corner, Linda silently wept. Her selfishness had changed all three lives. Now the question was, how do they tell Hope? And would she ever forgive them? The next weekend, the three women sat in Grace's living room. Grace, Naomi, and Linda. Hope was outside, skipping rope with her neighbor. The air inside was thick with tension. "She deserves to know," Naomi whispered. Grace nodded slowly, tears already in her eyes. But gently. They called Hope Indiana. She ran inside with a big smile. "Mummy, Aunt Linda. You're all here." She plopped onto the couch, catching her breath. "Are we watching a movie?" Grace knelt in front of her. "No, baby. We need to talk." Hope's smile faded. Grace held her hand. "I want you to listen carefully, okay?" Hope nodded, eyes wide. Grace took a deep breath. 10 years ago, someone left a baby at my door. That baby was you." Hope frowned. "You mean, you didn't give birth to me?" Grace shook her head gently. "No, but I raised you. From the day I found you, I became your mother with all my heart." Hope looked at Linda. Then, "Aunt Linda is my mum." Linda looked down, ashamed. "No," Grace said. "She lied. She made a very big mistake. But she's not your birth mother." Hope turned to Naomi. Naomi's voice cracked. "I am. Carried you for 9 months. I loved you. I planned to keep you. But I made bad choices. And I trusted the wrong person." Hope stared at them all, her young face overwhelmed. "So who am I supposed to believe?" Grace touched her cheek. "You don't have to pick. You have a right to know the truth. And to take your time." Naomi added softly. "I don't want to take you away. I just want a chance to know you. If you let me." Hope looked at them all, silent for a long time. Then in a small voice she asked, "Can I still call you Mummy?" Grace hugged her tightly, holding back sobs. "Always." Hope looked at Naomi and said quietly, "Can I call you Miss Naomi for now?" Naomi nodded with tears in her eyes. "Anything you want." And Linda? She sat in the corner, silent, broken. Hope didn't even look at her. That night, as Hope slept curled beside Grace, Naomi left quietly, whispering, "Thank you for giving her what I couldn't." But moral lesson. Sometimes the people we trust the most can betray us in ways that change our lives forever. But even in the face of lies, abandonment, and confusion, love has the power to heal what bloodlines cannot explain. This story teaches us that being a parent is not just about giving birth, but about staying, sacrificing, and choosing love every single day. Lies, no matter how long they last, always come to light. And when they do, the truth may hurt, but it also frees. Forgiveness isn't forgetting, but understanding, setting boundaries, and choosing peace. Children deserve the truth, told with love, not to protect adults, but to help them understand who they truly are. And most importantly, family is not always about who you come from. It's about who is willing to fight for you, raise you, and never leave you behind. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and check our channel for more amazing stories.